Well, I don't usually tell all when it comes to what I vote, when I vote, what I vote for. But I honestly feel really good and very proud of myself because I voted for gays to have the right to marry if they so choose. I voted for that. And I'm I'm straight. I'm not gay. It does me no. It doesn't serve me in the slightest. That I voted the way I voted. And yet I feel better about voting for the rights of the gay community than I've probably in my time on this planet. It's one of the things that I feel really, really good about. Like really good about voting. Because the whole thing with women's rights and women being able to vote, that all happened before I was born. I mean, yes, women are still in a constant state of trying to hold on to their hard-won rights. Every 4 years, it's another, well, gee, are we gonna have our rights put on the chopping block again? But the big battle happened before I was born. That would be the battle that my mom's generation and her generation had to fight. But there's a battle that still isn't won. There's still a gross injustice in this country. And I feel good that I voted for in Washington State. I have no control, unfortunately, with what other states do. I personally find it repugnant that in the United States of America there is a group of people who pay taxes just like everybody else, who are denied exactly the same rights as everybody else. There's a group of people that are singled out and they pay taxes. They do everything that they're expected to do, everything that every other citizen has to do to be and live in America. But they don't get to get married. They get singled out. Sorry, you don't get to have the rights that other people get to enjoy. Not only that, but they are completely dependent on popular vote, whether or not they get to have these rights. It kind of depends on how many bigots go and vote, whether or not, and how many bigots are in each individual state, whether or not this group of people, the gay community, gets to have the same rights as everybody else. I think that's really grossly wrong. It's an injustice. It's wrong. Nobody else has to depend. I don't have to depend. If I meet somebody and I want to get married, I don't have to wait around and hope that my state votes that it's okay. I can just go get married. Why is it that I can do that, but other people who just happen to be attracted to the same gender can't? I'm sorry. So yes, I went and I voted for something that I think should never have happened in the first place. It should not be that first of all, we should have a Harvey Milk Day, or we should take Martin Luther King Day and make it into Freedom Fighters Day, and include in that people like Harvey Milk. Martin Luther King died for his dream. Well, so did Harvey Milk. And we can't obviously have a day for every person that puts so much on the line for freedom. But I think a Freedom Fighters Day would be a really good idea. So, yes, I voted for gay rights today. And like I said, I can't control what happens in the rest of the country. But I can have some say what happens in my state. And luckily, my state is a little more forward-thinking, and yes, we have bigots here, but I don't think there's quite as many as in some of the other states, the heartland of America and the South. I think Washington's pretty forward-thinking, and I'm really hoping that tomorrow will be a day when Washington becomes a place where gay people can feel and be treated like full citizens and persons, like all the rest of us have been and taken for granted. And I mean, like I said, we women are always going to be having this whole thing, well, gee, do we get to have control over our bodies for the next 4 years? Are we ever going to get paid the same as men? But that's a different issue. I just think it's so long overdue that it's the 21st century and we're still quibbling about, I see 2 men walking down the street or 2 women walking down the street. It is no different to me whether they are boyfriends or girlfriends, or if they're married. How does that affect me in any way? Whether they're married or whether they are just together as, a couple, it doesn't affect me one bit. So why can't gay couples marry? They're still couples. You still see them together. What is the big deal? It doesn't hurt me. And schools already teach children that there are many different definitions of family, many different types of family. I grew up with one parent. I grew up with just a mom. I would have loved to have 2 parents. I had 2 parents for the first 6 years of my life, and then I didn't anymore. I think any kid who's lucky enough to have 2 loving parents, oh my God, I wouldn't care. I would have loved to have had 2 dads. I was a daddy's girl. I would have loved to have had 2 dads. I don't see what the big deal is. There's so many children that grow up without any love at all, and people quibble about, oh, well, and children are going to grow up gay if they're raised by gay parents. Excuse me? Okay, then how come you have 2 straight parents and somehow they end up with a gay child if that's the case? Science is more and more showing that people are born gay, just like they're born with red hair or green eyes. It's not a choice. It's not a choice. It's who you are. Anyway, this is a long rant. It wasn't supposed to be a long rant. I was just going to get on and say how happy I feel about the fact that I feel like I got to be involved a little bit, in a very small way. Maybe I was able to help make a difference for us, for people that should have the same rights that I have. And everybody should have the same rights. And I don't understand how the church has authority to deprive a group of people their rights in this country. That's just wrong. There is separation of church and state in this country. So anywhere, in any state in this country where you have one group of people set aside and denied the rights that everybody else gets to enjoy because of religion, because the church says, when there's supposed to be separation of church and state in this country, that is wrong. And shame on the states that enforce this bigotry, this discrimination on some people and not all people. Either everybody should have the right to be married or nobody should have the right to be married. That's what I think. Anyway, so yay, I voted, and I hope that tomorrow that I will get to be able to say that I live in a state that grants equality and freedom for all. So anyway, thank you for listening. Keeping them crossed for Obama. Bye.